Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony Harris. I was the chaplain that was assigned to Master Lau's spiritual care, and I was at the bedside at the timing of his passing, and I was there with his wife, Wilhelmina, and at the time Peter and his wife was there, and we were able to have some time of reflection. So it was an honor and a privilege to be there to comfort the family during such a time. And so on behalf of Queen City Hospice and Maple Knoll, I just say thank you to the family for entrusting us with the sacred trust of caring for Master Lau. And so each one of us have a unique experience with his life, and I've learned so much about him through just talking with each one of you, come to know just this evening, this afternoon. I just want to cover some things. Immediately after the service, there will be a private interment where the family would have a private service at the gravesite, during which time you will be directed down the hallway for a celebration and a banquet of his life. And so during that time, before that, we will also have a time of reflection where I will ask you three, what I call diagnostic questions to reflect upon his life. And as you reflect on these three questions that I ask you, I would like for you to share what you have found to be your answer with one another and maybe with the family as well. And so we will conclude to come back and we will be with the family at that time. We've come to give honor and dignity and respect to Master Mok Lau. As we celebrate and reflect upon his life and legacy, we have found him to be a loving father to his children, Peter, Robert, and Norman, a faithful companion to his wife, Wilhelmina, and to many of us, he continues to be a master teacher and a prolific source of positive inspiration in the journey of life. And so we've come to say thank you to Master Lau for a life well lived. We have come to embrace the family and to bless his children for the generations to come. We have come to consider the application of his legacy to our own lives. And as we do, let us consider the brevity of it as we unite in prayer. Let us pray. Eternal and all-wise Master of the universe, you are the giver and sustainer of all life. You formed Mok Lau in his mother's womb, and through wisdom, discipline, and perseverance, caused him to become a grand master teacher. He has taught us love in the diversity of family. He has taught us strength through discipline of mind, body, and spirit. He has taught us excellence in all that he has done. Creator of the balance and the force of life, grant unto us today the grace to accept your will, the wisdom to receive your truth, and the strength that we need for the journey of long nights ahead. Amen. This time I would like to share a poem that is not really a poem, it's really a reading that reflects the principles that govern Master Lao's life as recorded in The Art of War. Master Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are, number 1, the moral law, number 2, heaven, number 3, earth, number 4, the commander, and 5, method and discipline." It appears that Sun Tzu understood these laws. The moral law, he states, causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. Heaven signifies night and day, cold and heat, time and seasons. Earth comprises distance, great and small, danger and security, open ground and narrow passes, the chances of life and death. The commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness. By method and discipline are to be understood the marshaling of the army in its proper subdivisions, the graduation of ranks among the officers, the maintenance of roads by which supply may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure. These 5 heads should be familiar to every general. He who knows them will be victorious. He who knows them will not fail. Principles that he lived by from the art of war. Principles that we can all apply to our life. Discipline, courage, wisdom, benevolence. So I hope that we take from his life some guiding principles as we consider our own. At this time, we will take a moment of silence to meditate. That was one of the things that I understood that he did quite often. He meditated on life and so developed excellence. So let us all take time to meditate and to think about his life and what it means to you and how you want to carry that life on to the next generation. And so his life lives on in each one of us. At this time, we will prepare for the eulogy that has been prepared by Rod Lau as he comes at this time. Good afternoon.
I want to thank you for attending this sad but very special day where we remember my dad and celebrate his life. My name is Rob Lau. I'm Mark Lau's second eldest son. Although my twin brother is technically the oldest, I have always contested I was conceived first. I'm a better swimmer whether he likes it or not. My father died on New Year's Day with Mom by his side, listening to his classical harmonica recordings. I'm so privileged to represent my brothers, Peter, Norman, my mom, Wilhelmina, and extended family to deliver my dad's eulogy. It is the biggest honor of my life. Many of you know him as a husband, uncle, grandfather, Opa, teacher, master, friend, role model, mentor, entertainer, and yes, he was a gifted entertainer. As I reflected on my dad's life with many tears and sorrow, I soon realized I could not possibly share all of the stories and memories. I know each of you have a special bond with my father that I cannot fully represent. And I want you to know that my words are heartfelt and a gift from our family to each of you. The first thing my dad would do today is enthusiastically, with his warm smile, welcome all of you and thank you for being present with his family, would he not? He had a deep love and admiration for all of you. I know this firsthand as he spoke so highly and cared so much for each and every one of you. He loved you. For me, he was my role model, my hero. He was a ray of sunshine, always wanting to make you feel comfortable. Warm, pleasant, a storyteller, wise, intelligent, compassionate, passionate, a perfectionist, loving, funny, but make no mistake, he had focus, drive, and wanted to be the best at whatever he tackled. His Chinese nephew wrote, "Unlike ordinary people, Uncle Lau is as soft as silk and as hard as steel." That's why he can be both a profound musician and also a martial arts master. He was a bigger-than-life character, always so appreciative of everyone, to the very end. And he always was telling me every moment he could, "I love you." He made me into the man I am today, and I'm forever grateful and honored to carry on his legacy. If my dad was standing side by side with me, I wonder what he would say. Wanda, my cousin, shared with me a response to a question she asked my father this past July after he returned home from his long hospital and rehab stay. She asked her uncle, "How are you feeling?" So, Dad, how are you feeling today? My dad would say, "I have to tell you, I feel terrific because of positive thinking. No negative in my thoughts. Everything is positive because I have no room in my mind for negative thoughts. I only have love. Love is a gift." Is that not already good enough to start our day? He started his day every day with a positive outlook and only love in his heart. His love for each of you and his family was truly unconditional. As I share with you his story, I think you'll find a common theme that guided his life, which as I reflect on it, profoundly influenced me and my brothers. 1, positive attitude. 2, live in the moment. 3, unconditional love. He believed love is a gift. And 4, perseverance. Never give up. My dad was born in Hong Kong in 1925 to his mother, Siu Su Han, and father, Lau Yen Sam. My dad is known to many as a world-class musician, champion weightlifter, successful businessman, Tai Chi Chuan master. In the 1940s and 1950s, my dad owned a gym and gymnastics schools and was a champion weightlifter in Hong Kong. He won Mr. Hong Kong, the title, multiple times, and later became president of the Hong Kong Bodybuilders Association. My dad won the championship weightlifting in the Hong Kong province in China in 1948 and still holds weightlifting records. During that time, he also innovated and developed the classical harmonica, performing recitals throughout Southeast Asia, including with the Taiwan Symphony Orchestra and for dignitaries such as the late President Chiang Kai-shek and Madame Xiang. His technique and understanding of music was so impressive, he became known as the Larry Adler of South China. He received his first harmonica at the age of 7 and taught himself. He said, "I practiced 6 hours a day and never missed a day." In 1957, Dad received a full scholarship to study music at Allen University in South Carolina after publishing his distinctive harmonica book on classical harmonica. At the height of his music career in Asia, my dad decided to leave Hong Kong and come to the United States and study. He came for the American dream. In 1959, Dad debuted the classical harmonica at Carnegie Hall in New York City, a dream of every soloist, with great national acclaim. Quote, "Master of the harmonica, Mr. Lau is a man of high, even intense musicality," unquote, New York Herald Tribune. Quote, "He could give lessons in phrasing to performers of conventional instruments," unquote, the New York Times. In 1963, he graduated from Hunter College in New York City with a master's degree in art. In the 1960s, he continued to perform classical harmonica throughout the United States, including playing with the New York Philharmonic. He also directed the Harmonica Rascals by holding down multiple jobs in music editing. Dad finally stepped down from stage in 1969 and settled in Cincinnati to start a new life focused on his family, where he raised me, my twin brother, and younger brother. There, in 1969, he founded Lau's Music Engraving Company to help clients edit and engrave their music composition for publication. Here, too, he became the best and won the Orchestration First Prize Paul Revere Award for his work. He won many Paul Revere Awards. He was once asked, "What is the secret to your success?" And he said, with an exclamation point, "Discipline, perseverance." At an early age, my dad realized the importance of the harmony of yin and yang for the mind and body. He started to train his body with weightlifting and his mind with music at a very early age. It was through these trainings that he acquired the discipline of concentration and the concept of perseverance, the never give up attitude. And it was this heritage that developed him into an extraordinary Hall of Fame Kung Fu master that allowed him to demystify Tai Chi and Qi Kung principles using science-based and common sense explanations. The biggest gift my dad received was meeting my mom, a traveling student from Germany in 1962 on a blind date. There's a lot more to that story. Mom and Dad fell in love and within a year decided to marry and start their life in New York City with $43 to their name. Their love was deep and their dedication to each other, our family, and living by old-fashioned values of duty, honor, and respect was strong. Peter and I were born soon afterwards in Brooklyn Hospital in the Bronx. Norman was born 19 months later in the boroughs of New York City as well. My dad was beaming with pride that he had 3 sons, and he felt strongly for the boys to live the American dream. You are required to earn a college degree. Going to college was never an option, but expected by my father. And my dad's greatest joy and proudest moment of his life was when each of his sons earned a 4-year college degree. As you can imagine, we grew up in a very diverse household. My dad and mom's second language was English. Imagine an articulate, husky Chinese bodybuilder and a strong-willed German wife arguing in their second language of English. Needless to say, we learned many new English words not found in English. During our upbringing, we were members of the Chinese American Association, went to Ursuline Academy every weekend for piano lessons with a beautiful nun, swam competitively with the Cincinnati Marlins, took Chinese and reading and writing lessons, spent lots of time with the Cincinnati German community, learned Tai Chi movements, practiced weightlifting techniques, and were constantly supported in all our school activities. My dad and mom always put us first. Always. During that time, we learned about discipline and hard work by watching my dad rise every morning sharp at 5:30 a.m. He started his day by practicing Tai Chi, Qi Kung breathing exercises. He worked as hard as his Tai Chi as any one of his students. Then putting a full day of work with his music engraving business. Then teaching his martial arts in the evenings and weekends. I remembered when my dad was preparing for a harmonica recital after he retired. I would sit on the steps and overlook the railing, watching him practice with his pianist. He would practice the harmonica for hours, and sometimes the same music phrase over and over and over again. He did the same when he was preparing to play at my wedding. One of the songs he performed was Old Danny Boy, which he dedicated to my mother-in-law. Dad rehearsed and played like he was performing at Carnegie Hall again. It was magical. My dad was a music prodigy, and I learned from my dad, and I hope my sons and my daughter understand this, that talent alone does not guarantee success, but combined with exceptional hard work allows you to achieve your aspirations. It was a great personal lesson to me to see the best in the world work so hard at his craft. During our upbringing, my dad and mom created great holiday traditions. We so look forward to every year. Every Christmas Eve was a German celebration with a wonderful German feast of sausage, potato salad, pork chops, sauerkraut, cucumber salad, lots of German sweets. And on New Year's Day, it was my dad's turn to cook, and it was always a Chinese meal of duck. You know he loved his duck. Duck potatoes, rice, shrimp, snow pea paws, egg and rice noodles. My dad cooked 3 ducks each New Year's Day. He started early in the morning and was meticulous about every detail. Like with everything he pursued, he wanted our New Year's Day meal to be the best. And for entertainment, he formed a cloth napkin into a mouth, simulating mouse movements with a mouse-shaped cloth napkin, which I think all of you have seen. Our birthdays, my dad made us egg rolls and wonton soup and always long noodles for long life. I likened that preparation and cooking to an art form. There were special moments and traditions. I'm so lucky to have my wife, Susan, pass them down to our children. Holidays. In fact, my brother Peter is our family chef, carrying on all the Maklao food traditions. He had a wonderful dinner last night. He was a big part of our Chinese and German culture, and one of the many legacies he left us. We loved to eat. My dad loved to cook. In Cincinnati is where my dad began teaching basic and advanced Tai Chi Chuan and Qi Kung at his home studio. Mercy Healthcare, Tri-Health, University of Cincinnati, and for the wellness community where cancer patients and survivors learn Tai Chi methods to increase energy and reduce stress. He helped business executives and Olympians with his teachings on meditation and stress reduction. One of those great Cincinnati Olympians was Gary Hall, a multi-Olympic medalist who made a comeback as an older swimmer to win the bronze medal in the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games. I'll never forget sitting in the family room watching the Olympics on television with Gary Hall winning his Olympic medal and holding his child in the water with him. My dad was so proud of him, like he is of all of us. My dad has had students who have studied with him for over 35 years, some of those students being high-degree black belts and accomplished martial artists. Many of them have felt he changed their lives with his teachings and approach. Some have told me our dad saved their lives. His unique background as a champion weightlifter and bodybuilder, combined with his music heritage, allowed him to truly help people use martial arts to improve their health and well-being, in addition to self-defense. He helped his students understand how to balance the mind and the body by also teaching breathing for relaxation and stress reduction. Most importantly, he had fun and entertained students. He did this through his teaching and his legendary Tai Chi student lunches. Norman, a third-degree black belt himself, an accomplished musician, has carried on many of my dad's martial arts lessons and musicality. My dad was proud of Norman. Both he and my mom were disciples and helped my dad teach Tai Chi. My mom was a big part of my dad's team. At their home studio, she would greet students, keep things organized, help students with Tai Chi form, and accompany my dad to lessons and seminars throughout the greater Cincinnati area. In 2004, my dad was inducted into the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame as Kung Fu Master of the Year. That was a proud moment for all of us, his family, his friends, and especially his students. It was an experience I will never forget. In closing, as you can tell, I'm proud of my dad. He had a drive to do his best, and to be the best through hard work, preparation, and discipline. He immensely enjoyed sharing his art and helping others. What I'm most proud of are the values my dad molded in me and my brothers. Not through what he said, but how he lived his life. He lived his words by example. And I have to say, my dad was blessed with a loyal, loving, supportive wife, a great partner. Through the good times and bad times, my mom was a big part of my dad's life, always by his side, supporting him and being part of their success. She was the love of his life, and he thought of her every moment he lived. So, his legacy is how he lived his life. As one of his beloved Tai Chi students, Jim Bashir, shared with me last week, quote, and I'm going to quote Jim, Mak Lau mastered the art of living every day. What does that mean? The following is what my father would say about the art of living. Number one, only think positive. Have no negative thoughts. My dad would go on and tell us the old Chinese parable, Old Man and the Horse, that teaches us what can seem like a misfortune can be a very good thing. It's the first thing I thought of when I received the phone call from Peter about my father. Number two, yesterday is gone. We cannot live in tomorrow, as today is tomorrow's yesterday. All we have is today. Live in the moment. Number three, if you do good, it will come back to you. If you do bad, it will come back to you. It is better to give than to take, and do everything you can to help people if you can. If you give and expect something in return, then it is a business. It is not love. Love is a gift, and don't ever forget this. And then the final thing, live with discipline, hard work, and perseverance. Never give up. There are so many things I want to share about my dad. There are so many more stories, but I hope these few words and photos here today allow you to get a brief glimpse of his amazing life and impact he had on me, as well as you and others. He was unquestionably an inspiration to many, and he will inspire me for the rest of my life. His legacy to me and my family is resounding. I think each of you will have your own wonderful memories and legacy to live by from Mak Lau, my dad. Our family, the music, martial arts community in Cincinnati has lost a great treasure. I want to read a poem to close our celebration of Mak Lau's life, my dad. We love you, Dad, with all our heart, and hate that we should be apart. Our love is a bond that can't be broken. You may be gone, but never forgotten. We remember the day you went away. The pain in our hearts is every beat. But we know that eventually one day, we will once again meet. The loss is something we can't describe. We are really going to miss you. One day we will be back by your side so we can hug and kiss you. There are no words to tell you just what we are feeling inside. The sadness and the hurt one day will gradually subside. We will cherish your teachings. We will carry on your legacy. We will live for the day and never give up. Things will never again be the same. And though we are hurting quite bad, we will smile when we hear your name and be so proud to remember our dad. Sleep well, darling Dad. Forever you are in our hearts and thoughts. We love you.
life well lived. A life that has touched so many. What can you say but to reflect upon it and find a way to celebrate it? Although your hearts may be sad from day to day, grief comes like rain. Some days it's going to be pouring down like today. It may pour down upon you. But know that you're not alone. You have an umbrella, and the wisdom that he has given to you, the moments that he has shared to you, the time that you have set at meet with him around the table and in classrooms, may they be like an umbrella to comfort you. There are going to be days where it seems as if the cloud is only over you, a dark cloud walking as you walk above you. Those are days when you draw strength from the positive memories that you have of Master Lau. And then there are going to be days when the sun is shining. It's beautiful. But it's sprinkling rain, and it's sprinkling rain on you, and you're not sad, but you may have a tear in your eye, but you're not sad. You're actually reflecting with joy on his life. And that's okay. Don't feel guilty for that, because he would want you to celebrate life as he lived it. And so as you consider the brevity of life, we honor his legacy, and we honor also his wife, because the two are one. They have been on a long journey together. I remember she shared with me when we were at the bedside of some of the stories that they had, and one of the things she told me was about the peanut butters that like to choked her. She didn't know you had to swallow the peanut butter. It got stuck in the roof of her mouth, and so they didn't know how to get it down. And then there was another time when she saw a soldier looking, and he was moving his mouth like this. She couldn't tell what he was doing. She said he was chewing gum. She had never seen chewing gum before, so they didn't know what he was doing. They just thought he was making odd faces. But all of those things make for life experiences and make for good memories. And I pray that in the difficult days ahead, may you have a memory like that. So as we get ready to reflect on these next three questions, I want to conclude with a prayer that you may be familiar with as we celebrate his life and honor the faith of his wife as well. When you don't know what to pray and words utterly fail you, remember to pray like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In a few moments, you're going to hear a song played by Master Lau. It is the crescendo of his life. As you listen to the crescendo that he will play in a few moments, I want you to reflect upon three questions, and I call these diagnostic questions. But I want you to come back together again, and if you can think of the answers, share them with one another during the Chinese celebration. The first question is this: if he could speak to you right now, if he could ask you to do something for yourself, for someone else, or for him, what would he want you to do? If he could ask you to do something for yourself, for him, or for someone else, what would he want you to do? He may have talked about it. He may have joked about it with you. He may have tried to encourage you to do a task. Maybe it's something that he wanted to do, but he was not able to finish it. Maybe you can carry that legacy on. Consider that. If he could say something, number two, if he could say something to you right now, what would he say to you personally? Because each one of you knew him personally, or knew someone who knew him. what would he say to you to get you through this moment? And then lastly, even while you're here, you may come to the table and reflect upon his life. The last question is, if you could say something to him, what would you want him to know? Many of you have had opportunity to do that throughout the years, but even today, you may feel the need to come and to share, to say something in last respects to him. And you can do that here at the table. And as we come together again, share your epiphany. Share what you have been enlightened with, the knowledge that has been spoken to your mind. So at this time, we will hear the song and reflect upon these questions as we celebrate his life.
Thank you.
can do with this moment is see him standing on the stage. And as he is walking stage left, will you stand with me and give him a standing ovation for a life well lived? Pastor Mark.
Well, family and friends, I want to thank you all for being here today. And at this time, the family will go on a private interment, and the rest of you are invited to the reception center here at the funeral home. We'll have people directing you to the actual reception center. We will have to step outside for a moment, so make sure you grab your coats and take everything with you, because you will be leaving from that area. But whenever you are ready, I just invite you to say your condolences.